So, how did you kind of get into the development space, Linux, and programming?
Okay, it's nice to meet you, and thank you for giving me this moment to share origami. And um, so, when I was a teenager, I started with Windows. I broke it a lot, and then one day I discovered Linux, and I don't even remember what I used back then, but I became really well attuned with Linux, and then eventually I ended up being an Arch Linux user as my preferred Linux. And then for service, it was Debian. So I have a good experience with just about every distro. So I think I'm pretty well rounded there.
Yeah, you've kind of covered every base. I mean, Origami's based on Fedora, and you've got experience with Arch and Debian, so clearly best with the world of Linux.
Yeah. I never really used Fedora until I started this project. And I was really hardcore Arch Linux. It's the best because you could get. I liked it because I'm a bleeding edge person, so I like getting all the latest packages.
Yeah,
But now the Linux ecosystem has evolved so well with Flatpak. You can get all the latest versions of your packages, and then now that I discovered DistroBox, you can get the latest version of any command line tool. So you don't, I don't have to use Arch Linux anymore just for the latest packages. So using Fedora as a very stable and secure base, and then I get my latest packages. So it's the best of both worlds.
yeah. I think a lot of people have misconceptions about Flatpaks, like take up too much space, and they're really slow and hard to configure, but all of that's got a lot easier more recently with things like Flatseal and shared runtimes. So, yeah, it's a really viable option.
I was always like kind of against Flatpak because I thought it was going to be heavy, and there would be like inconsistencies with theming and whatnot. But now that I've used it, I can attest that when I use Flatpak packages, it's no difference in terms of performance as using a native binary on the system.
Yeah, I think that's one of the places that Flatpaks have really improved in terms of speed. They've just got a lot quicker.
And and and, and, and the fact that they're sandbox, it adds that extra layer of security.
Yeah,
I mean, sometimes you'll get hiccups, but as long as you use like Flatsail, like for example, I develop websites locally, so I can add the path that I want to give access to that website. So you just have to tweak the permissions, but out of the box, most everything works.
yeah. All of the runtimes and default permissions they've just become so much better and, kind of easier to use as a default.
Yeah, I believe each Flatpak, the developer set the required permissions for that application, so that's why out of the box they run pretty well.
Hmm. So, do you want to kind of show off the system and installing it, especially in a VM?
Sure, sure, sure. So just to confirm, can you see my screen? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you see now isn't the stock experience. I've customized my panel up here a little bit, and these extensions you can get in the Flatpak store or the Cosmic store. Um, so this is Origami. This is my system I'm using.
So you develop origami locally on an origami system?
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty weird, but Origami is a great base system to develop on. I do a lot of Rust development as well.
I
So I'll give a little bit of a history about Origami.
Yeah.
Uh, by the way, this is the color theme I've made with origami, so I keep everything with a consistent color theme. So I, like I said before, I'm a really heavy Arch Linux guy, for the reasons I already stated. But there was a part of me that really wanted to learn Red Hat because a lot of my job interfaces with enterprise companies. So I didn't have that Fedora Red Hat experience. So I started to learn Red Hat, and it was a very great, stable, secure system. Um, but I'm also a bleeding edge guy, and I love Rust. So when I saw Cosmic, I could use Cosmic on Arch Linux very easily. Um, and then I missed running Cosmic, so I installed it on Red Hat, and it worked. And I was really happy with it. But then I realized I shouldn't be installing third-party repositories on Red Hat Linux. It kind of breaks the security model. So what I did next was install the Cosmic Fedora spin. Well, that was great. And then I learned about something called Atomic Linux, which is kind of creates a write-only or a read-only system, which is a security measure so that if you get malware and other things, that your core operating system cannot be changed. Or I know I've had a lot of experience, and a lot of other people have experience where they play with Linux, they edit configs on the system level, and it breaks their system. And it's such a headache to kind of fix it. So with Atomic Linux, it's impossible to break your system. And there's a fail-safe system, uh, like BTRFS, so that every time you update the system, it creates uh, a backup. So if you get the latest update and it's broken, you can roll back to the previous working state. So you'll never have those times where your Linux is completely broken.
Yeah, atomic
Um,
distros are really good. I've not done much with them. Obviously, I've tested Origami a little bit, but also Vanilla OS and NixOS, and those were really good experiences.
yeah, coming from traditional Linux, using Atomic is totally different model. So there's a bit of a learning curve. But what I see, a lot of people who come to Origami are first-time Linux users, which is great because they get to learn how to use the Atomic system from the start. And I believe, and a lot of other people believe that Atomic Linux is kind of going to be the future of Linux. So I believe Red Hat is on the pioneering edge of that. So I think you'll be seeing Red Hat Linux going atomic first because the stability of not being able to break your system is invaluable. So origami, I really like Japanese culture. So I picked the name Origami Linux, and it was really cool. And then I could use like little, like my logo is like either a hat or a boat, whatever you want it to be. And then there's a lot of philosophy that I take inspiration from. So I believe that you always need to continue improvement and uh, always refine it. I believe that simplicity is beauty, so I keep the system as minimal as possible, and I let the end user determine what apps they want to install on the system. However, I do pre-install Zen browser because a lot of people want to have a browser out of the box, so I kept that, and it's a great browser. Um, and I just think having a natural system, just really very simple, bleeding edge. I love it.
Yeah, and I think
So,
the whole idea of Origami Linux aligns really well with users coming from Windows and first-time Linux users who are potentially even coming from things like Mac OS. And you know, the minimalism, it kind of gives them what they want, trying to escape bloatware. And also the atomic nature means that, I mean, no offense to new users, but they have a much higher chance of breaking their system. And, you know, atomic gives them that safety net.
Yeah, it's great. So a lot of first time Linux users usually break their system. And another thing is a lot of Linux distros, they come with a bunch of applications, and I, I, I like the distro hop, so I'm always like uninstalling all the default applications. So I just think it's makes it a better experience. Some of the technical stuff about Origami is that I use a Blue build building system to create Origami, which is a boot C Linux. So basically, we start with a core image, and then I build on top of that. For my base image, I'm using Bluebuild's base image. Sorry if this gets too technical. Um, I was previously using uBlue as a base image, but there was a lot of discussions about uBlue wanting to get away from their branding, and they only want to focus on their core distributions that they have. So it was kind of told to me indirectly that you should not try to associate with uBlue. So luckily, I've had a lot of discussions with the Bluebill team. They're a great team, and they've supported me all the way.
It's
So
unfortunate that
yeah,
uBlue would, you know, do that and try and focus on their core OS rather than, you know, the wider free and open source community. But it's good that other tools like Bluebuild exist.
yeah, and the Bluebird kind of has a layer on top of your typical container. So they use modules. So and managing the system is very easy and straight to the point. So, for example, one of the changes I want to make is there's a script here that I have which changes the permission of a font after it's installed. But I pushed a pull request yesterday to fix this, so I don't need it anymore into my build. So once I make a change, I just push it to my GitHub or GitLab, sorry.
Yeah, what actually happened with your GitHub? Did you find out? Because you told me it got suspended, but
Yeah. So I'm not sure why it got suspended. I feel like that my I don't want to say anything wrong, but I talked with them, and they told me that their automated I guess they use AI to scan GitHub repositories, and then they flag them for things, and apparently my account was flagged wrongly, and they apologized, and they reinstated my account. However, because my account was wrongly flagged, it was completely inaccessible for a week. That's not just for Origami, but all of my other repositories, and that really hurt. So I jumped over to GitLab, and they decided to sponsor the project as well. So I'm more than happy using GitLab now with that.
yeah.
Um,
I mean,
so as you I sorry for since I pushed my changes, my GitLab is already processing the new images. So they'll create the base image, and then it creates an ISO automatically. So maintaining the Origami is really easy, and if anyone wants to contribute to the project, it's really easy to get on board.
yeah. It it's really good of GitLab to, you know, kind of sponsor the project and support the project after GitHub kind of did a little
Yeah.
oopsie.
So I like to warn people if they have any like really production stuff on GitHub to have a backup plan in case their account gets wrongly uh, suspended.
Yeah. We'll probably
We also
probably do a.
we're also sponsored by Cloudflare.
Oh yeah.
So
How do you manage to get supported by Cloudflare? Is that part of their uh
they have a nice program for open source projects. So I applied. I work with Cloudflare. I'm not saying I know people in there that helped me, but I did internally send Origami to be tested by the Cloudflare team, and they really liked the project. And then coincidentally, I was accepted into Project Alexandria. So Project Alexandria is really helpful for well, Cloudflare is very helpful for protecting your websites. So uh, Origami website, we get a 100 page speed score. I'm using all of Cloudflare's tools. I'm also using Cloudflare R2 to host the ISO images. So no matter where you are in the world, you'll be getting the fastest time.
did you have a little kind of panic when Cloudflare went down last week? Well, yeah, last week.
Uh, um, no, not really, because of what we know what happened with AWS, and it seems like it's a problem that these big uh, companies are facing where they're realizing they need to have these backup plans. With Cloudflare, their problem was they had I believe, a bad update that went to all of their POPs, so it caused a problem worldwide. But I think Cloudflare's recovery time was quicker than anybody else, so um, I do applaud them for how fast they fixed their problem. But yeah, it's unfortunately that everything's run on three big companies.
Yeah, and it sparked a massive kind of discussion in the Rust community of renaming the unwrap function, because I also agree. I tried Rust before and it was a bit too complex. I use Go now, but the unwrap function should be renamed. It doesn't really reflect what it does properly. Probably unwrap or panic or something.
Yeah, I to be honest, I'm not a programmer at all. I've never been a programmer. I've always hated programming, but now LLMs are getting good enough to where you can vibe code at a small level. So I tend to do a lot of that, and I have no shame in it. If it wasn't for vibe coding, I probably would never even try coding.
Yeah, I mean,
But that's a big debate in itself.
yeah, I certainly have some opinions on vibe coding. I had a debate with someone on one of the subreddits, Linux subreddits, the other day, and despite them saying that they didn't see free and open source as a magic shield, they certainly kind of described their vibe coded product like that. They were kind of
Mm-mm.
they were kind of saying that, you know, it's free and open source and it's not a black box and you can read it if you want to. You know, that's true, but also, just because it's free and open source doesn't mean people can comprehend it necessarily.
Yeah, I have a very hard time with logic. My background is in web design, so HTML, CSS, JavaScript, that's my bread and butter. But I believe with prompt engineering is the skill that everybody needs to have. So I believe if you are good at creating the right prompts, you can do a lot of stuff. But it's very meticulous.
Yeah, I certainly think there are, but do you think that there are any languages that should never be given to AI? To, like, write or review?
I'm a technocrat. I believe AI should be proficient in every language. I want technology to be. I don't want to say to run the world, but I want technology to help humans become more prosperous.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, the technology's there. I think it needs kind of some more regulations on it, what it can do, the extent of what it
Absolutely.
can do, but also things like, I'm not saying anyone would, but things like assembly, I don't think should ever be written by AI.
Oh,
That
yeah,
would
that's
be pretty bad.
a very good point.
But also language,
But
lower level languages like C, C++, and Zig, I also don't think, because they have a lot of nuances too.
but the inevitable truth is that eventually people will try to make that happen, and it possibly may happen. So that's the scary part.
Yeah, and I mean, it will happen, and if things go wrong, then obviously look at it as a warning sign. Like,
Uh-uh.
rocks, little electronic stroke it
By the
had.
way, if you didn't already notice that I'm doing the installation of origami on my VM, so just doing that in the background.
Yeah. Why did you choose Tmux? To kind of start the environment in?
Oh no, so that's not my choice. That's the tooling I'm using.
Ah,
Blue Build uses another project to create these ISO images, and that's part of their process. However, Blue Build, they are migrating away, not away from Fedora, but they want to make their tool to be bootc centric, so that you can make distributions with any base image. So it could be Arch Linux, it could be Debian, and I say this because they're planning to create a new ISO generation tool, which uh, hopefully will have live ISO, so that we can try without installing, which is a feature I really want because it's kind of annoying having to install it before you can try it.
yeah. I mean, live ISO would be really, really nice. And do you think with that kind of move towards a wider range of distros being available, we'll start seeing people creating endless amounts of like Debian and Arch-based atomic distros?
Oh yeah, and I think once that happens, and if it becomes a mainstream, then I think we'll start seeing a lot more of those distros. So it's going to kind of start fragmenting the traditional Linux, and I think the more atomic type of Linux is going to be more prevalent.
Yeah, I think it would be a net positive to have a lot of the kind of more new user and even experienced user and enterprise distros to be atomic, but obviously you still want to have that space for more traditional non-atomic distros as well.
Yeah, it's a long journey, but I know because the big players like Red Hat, they're putting their money behind it, so I think it's going to give it a little boost.
Yeah, especially if kind of governments start investing in things like atomic systems, if that kind of, appeals to them, since it won't break and you'll have significantly less downtime on your systems, and especially if the EU starts using it, that'll kind of drive the rest of the world.
Oh yeah, right. So I was mentioning the ISO earlier. So Bluegoat, they have they're currently looking for a new tool to create ISO. So they're looking for something with a live option. Installing Flatpaks would be really nice. Uh, that's a feature I want. Currently, we can install Flatpaks, but the Flatpaks don't get installed until after the user logs in. And to me, that's if you have slow internet, that's kind of annoying to have to wait for your packages. So having pre-installed Flatpaks is going to be really nice.
I mean, it'll increase the image size a bit, but it'll kind of lead to a better user
Oh,
experience.
yeah, and that's absolutely what I want. Is the best user experience out of the box. So, as soon as you log in, everything's ready to go.
Is the when the installer freezes, is that an issue with Fedora or the build system?
I, I'm not really sure. For me, it's 50-50. Like one time it works fine, the next time it freezes. So I don't know if it's a problem with this virtual machine manager. I don't know if it's a problem with the installer. So, but regardless, the install works.
Yeah, I mean, I had it freeze and just reboot and it's fine. I think there's similar things happening on Zorin OS 18. Their installer freezes sometimes. I experienced that, and you reboot and it's fine.
Mm-mm. So I'll give a sneak peek of what the installation looks like. So um, it rates the recipe that I made with Blue Build, and then it does everything on top. So here we're, importing the third-party repositories or removing packages that I don't like on the base system. So it comes with Firefox, um, and I removed Toolbox because we use DistroBox. So, and then on top of that, we install all the custom applications that are built into Origami. Most of them are command line code, so you won't see them unless you see them.
Yeah, I after seeing that it used Axel, I tried it out on my system. Actually, a really good tool. So it's nice to have it there by
Yeah,
default.
yeah. Sometimes when you download large files on your browser, you'll get connection problems. But using Axel or Area 2, if there's a problem, it just pauses it, and then you can get right back into it.
Yeah, and
Um,
also sometimes the download's really weird on browsers, and I
yeah.
found that Axel just kind of works all the time.
So here's a side note. I recently added Maple Mono as the default mono font. It's really cute and it looks great. So I'm using Maple here. You can see that it's like really really cool. So I'm trying that out now.
It looks like a nice
Um,
font, so
yeah, it's really cool. What else here? I think really that's all it does for this. So back to the installer. I think it's done now. Yeah. Hey, it worked fine.
yeah.
Great.
No freezing.
So let's reboot. Yeah, it's really hit or miss. I don't understand it. What? I got question marks. That's new. That's the that's the first time I've ever saw that.
Looks like little mid quirks with probably Blue Build or the Fedora installer, but
Well, the question marks is because there's no Japanese font installed on the low level part of that loading.
oh yeah. Does it display origami in English and Japanese?
Well, in English it does, but the Japanese characters don't show.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll show you right out of the box. We get an installer. So I kind of forked the Cosmic installer, and I added a few pages here. So and then I created a different panel for stock. So it's a little bit different than the stock Cosmic. So I wanted to give it some uniqueness. Um, so on the landing page here, takes us to the website or the Discord. And I know since the last time we reviewed it, this wasn't a part of it, so this is new. some useful commands are update and TLDR. If you don't know what TLDR is, it's a really good program. I'll give a little sample here. So if you don't know how to use a command, TLDR comes great. So we use DistroBox, so you could do TLDR DistroBox to see how to use it. And what it does, it will just give you a rundown of all the example use cases.
Yeah,
I guess it's
pretty sure I have TLDR,
there we go.
TLDR installed, and I just don't use it enough, but it's a really good command to have, especially with, Windows users coming over. It kind of gives them an easier time working out what a command does, rather than trying to crawl through man pages.
Yeah, and this is a new tool that I just learned about from the origami community. So someone told me about it, and I had to include it. And then the other command update. So we use Upgrade for update management, and Upgrade is a great tool. So update is an alias for that. So Upgrade will not just update your system, but it will update everything inside of your system.
So it updates.
So we'll let that run.
System packages, Flatpaks, everything.
Yeah, it will update all of your DistroBox distros. It just updates everything, even things you wouldn't even think needs updated. It updates them. So I think that's awesome.
As well.
It even updates your firmware.
I think that Cosmic's a really good choice for a system like this, because you have the floating elements like a regular desktop, but also I think it's a really good introduction to Wayland Composite's tiling managers because of that tiling mode.
So I'll give a little example of how that works. So you can use Windows G to toggle between the two. So when you're in tiling mode, you can just open different things, and it automatically tiles them.
Is there
I never used tiling. What's that?
Is there any kind of keybind hint for users who potentially don't know the keybinds, or?
Yes. We'll get into that from here. So, also we install Cloudflare Warp. So Warp is a bit like a VPN. It uses the Cloudflare POP closest to you, so it kind of just secures your traffic without too much added latency. It's also a great tool for enterprise companies to access internal resources to act as a VPN. So I use it to just add another layer of security to my network communications, and I also use it for work to access isolated resources, because we have a really heavy zero trust policy. So you don't have to use it, or you can use it. It's up to you. It's there.
Does Origami come with UFW or fail to ban at all, or pick that
up? By default, we use what comes with Fedora, which I believe is Firewall D. One thing to note is when you first open the Cosmic Store, you won't see all your items, because on the first run it has to index the repo. So don't freak out if you don't see any of your applications. Just give it a moment to download that.
That's something that'll potentially trip up some users. Or, not search it up, go straight to Reddit. Oh, why is Cosmix not loading?
Yeah, I tried to give a little warning here, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean,
there we go. So it just takes a minute. It has to index everything.
Yeah, some people
So I
just
think hopefully, I hope that Cosmic they will work on that, and it's more of a Cosmic issue there.
yeah. I mean, some people just don't read anything, and they'll be
Um,
confused. But
yeah,
there's not much you can do about
yeah.
that.
So we use DistroBox because it's very containerized. So DistroBox is really cool here. I'll give an example of how to use it. So DistroBox it creates you can kind of think like a VM, but it's actually a container, so it doesn't use any extra resources. It runs natively. So I'll create a little Alpine image here. Where it wants to create Fedora toolbox. Let me run TLDR here. I don't remember the command verbatim.
I think
I think it's
DistroBox
like
is a
image.
really good tool. I should use it. Um, I don't, but also I don't really have much use for it. But you know, if I ever find it, if I ever find some, you know, really important use for it on my system, then absolutely, it's something that I think is really good to have. But most people most likely won't use it.
It's really good for development. So my use case is if I'm developing something that requires a specific version of Rust or a specific version of PHP, uh, we can predetermine that, and it doesn't mix up. So because Origami doesn't install too many things by default, if we want to install those libraries, we need to use DistroBox to do that. And it sounds confusing, but once you start using it and it becomes second nature, it's really cool thing to do to use. So you can install an application through DistroBox and then export it to your system so it runs without running DistroBox.
And
It's a bit of a learning curve, but
also useful if you're working on like a apt front end or a Pacman front end, and you need one of those libraries like libalpum, which won't be there on non-Arch systems.
yeah, I think it's more focused for developers. So a lot of developers are who are familiar with containerized workflows. It's great, but for the normal user, you'll mostly be mostly using just the Cosmic Store and installing your GUI applications. So the best of both worlds, I suppose. So the next thing here, we have a little introduction for DistroBox for those who want to use it. Then the rest of here is the standard Cosmic settings.
I think
I,
System 76 have done actually really well with Cosmic. I mean, sure, it's a few months late for beta, but I mean, it's already pretty polished, and the first setup guide's also really good.
the I don't know if you've heard, but I believe in December they're launching their full version, their first version.
That's actually sooner than I thought it would be based on the beta release timeline.
Yeah, I think it's January or December. Someone told me about it. I don't know if I have the link here. Ah, well, we can look it up later. But yeah, their full version is coming out soon, and I'm excited because it should add a lot more stability.
Yeah, I think that'll be really good.
So
And
here's
a lot of people will want to see that. You're maybe holding off until it is stable release.
yeah, there's a lot of people who are. So I think that will help. Origami will get a lot of new users just when that comes. So the keyboard shortcuts when you're using tiling here is super shift in the arrow keys, and then you can change tile current workspace, or you can have it set as a default. And here's kind of the how to use it: super arrows, super shift, super G, very easy to use. And there's built-in shortcuts. So using Super B will open a browser, Super T will open your terminal, Super F will open your file manager. I know it's a bit different with other filing managers, like most of the time it's Super Enter opens your terminal, but here they're going with phonetic alphabet, so T for terminal, etc.
Yeah, I think it's intuitive for like Windows users who are coming to Linux and macOS users coming to Linux, but
Yeah.
it's a little odd and takes some getting used to for users switching to Cosmic. Like, I'm very much used to hitting mod return and
Yeah.
and Control-Alt-T on some desktops.
So if you look, we are using CashOS kernel now. So that's a big feature that I wanted to add because I was a big CashOS user and I love their kernel. So now that I can use it inside of Fedora is pretty amazing.
I don't think I did it on stream, but I've tested out CatchOS a little bit in my own time, and it's really good. Even in a VM, it's quite snappy, and it's just a generally good system.
Yeah, I think if Bluebuild adds support for CashOS bootc image, which CashOS has a bootc image, I may possibly migrate from Fedora to CashOS, but we will see.
Everyone likes Arch-based. No one will complain, I don't think. And people will be asking if they get to say, I
Yeah.
use Arch, by the way. And you can say,
I
no, say, I use Origami, by the way. It sounds cooler.
right. I think having the atomic version of Arch Linux creates that extra buffer room of I don't want to mess up my system, and because with Arch you'll have that sometimes as your system will get broken, and that's just part of the bleeding edge nature. So having a atomic where you can roll back easily, I think that's would be a great bonus.
Yeah, and I think potentially for some people, that's kind of what they're missing in. Like, they want to use it and they like the system, but that kind of inherent fear that just stop working can be a genuine reason that people use something else.
So I'll do a little. I'm using this app called DistroBox, which is a front end, or DistroShelf, which is a front end for DistroBox. So I want to. I use a tool called Wrangler for my development inside of Cloudflare. So I'll show how that kind of works here. So it's already done. I have my image here. And we want to enter here. So we'll enter this distro box.
It'll go
Because
ahead and do some hands-off installation of everything.
So like if I want to use Wrangler, I don't have it on my system. So as a developer, okay, I guess my system, I guess Origami comes with Node.js. I guess that's a bad example here. We'll go with Rust. I know I don't have Rust. And I know you can install Rust easily, but I just want to give a use case.
Yeah.
No, I want to think of something better than that. What's a cool command line application? Mm,
Um.
you have any recommendations of something cool?
I mean, there's like the obvious choices, lolcat and calc or C matrix. Um, Steam locomotive is a fun one.
I don't have that one. What's the command for the
Uh,
steam locomotive?
SL.
Oh, SL. Okay, for sure I don't have that. So let's get into it. I wonder if Alpine has it actually. Add SL? Let's see. There we go.
Yeah, I remember it was I think around the time I first kind of got into Linux and started using it. I remember seeing some fun commands and people saying that you could prank people by switching LS and SL through aliases and yeah. Yeah.
That's funny. So I want to export here. Maybe we use this one to do that. Uh, app. Mm, I don't know, man. But you get the point.
Yeah. It's a useful tool, and like everything, it has a learning curve with.
Yeah. And then if we do an update, it will update all those. But yeah, I think that's the basics of origami here. I'm really listening to the community, what features they want. So I'm really cool with suggestions. I want this to be a distro, not just something that I want, but I what other people want as well. So,
You have
but
a.
I
You kind of have a current time frame on stable release, or kind of just.
uh, it's kind of just rolling. It's kind of rolling really. So I just go with whatever's upstream. So when Cosmic is stable, then Cosmic will be stable. When Fedora 44 comes out, then we'll be on Fedora 44. So because I'm using Fedora 43 as the base, it's already stable. So
I think a lot of
I
people
think I might.
um like that kind of rolling release. I think that's a lot of people want that, and having a kind of almost semi-rolling release Fedora distro would be something a lot of people are interested in.
Yeah, it's. I don't want to put version numbers on it because every time you install it, it's going to be the latest version of whatever I'm running on top of. So it's a bit like a semi-rolling release, but I don't want the end users to think about, okay, I have this version, is it compatible with that version? It's just always going to be up to date when they use it. And what's nice about using the blue build base image, there's an auto updater in the background, so you don't always have to run update. It will update everything in the background, and the next time you reboot, it will already be updated. So even updating something is something the users don't have to think about.
Am I right in thinking that Origami uses utils by default rather than the regular GNU core utils?
Yes, that's right. So I'm using the Rust utils. Um, so we can see that uh, uh, I'm going blank right now to think of what. No, not LL.
I think cat's in there.
Oh, here we go. Echo's part of it there. We can see. No, is alias to that.
Oh yeah,
But as you can see, Echo is alias to UU, which is the Rust version.
yeah.
Sudo too.
Sudo
So
rs.
sudo, I'm using sudo rs. And what's nice about this aliasing is that uh, these these Rust utilities are only user facing. So when the system does things in the background, they're going to use the traditional GNU versions for compatibility. But all these aliases are user facing, so only the user gets these optimizations. So it's more stable that way.
Do you think that we'll see more and more pros using utils over the regular GNU core utils?
Oh, that that's up for debate. I know a lot of people are for it, a lot of people are against it. Stability is a thing that they're working on, so give it a few years and we'll have a better idea.
I mean, yeah, obviously these things take a lot of time. Rewriting the entire set of core utils in Rust, a lot of effort.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think it will be a betterment. Even the Linux kernel, they're starting to take a lot more Rust additions. So I think Rust is slowly going to creep up on a lot of the tech stacks.
I think it's a net positive having Rust replace some of the more sensitive C infrastructure, especially in places like the kernel where, memory vulnerabilities are really, really important to kind of keep out of there. Rust gives you the security of the memory safety.
Yep, 100%. Um, so in conclusion, are there any suggestions or questions you have about origami?
Not really. It seems like a really, really solid system to use, and even in its current state, even where, Cosmic isn't at stable yet, it's still really, really good. And especially when I tried it, it was just a really solid experience, and I think a lot of users who would potentially be interested in switching to Linux would be extremely interested in something like Origami.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I hope that it's getting better since the last time you saw it. So uh, each day I try to add something or make it better. So my next task right now is the NVIDIA build is not using CachyOS kernel because I'm still trying to figure out how to compile the NVIDIA drivers on top of it. So that's going to be my next project is getting the Cache kernel working for the NVIDIA image.
Yeah, I think having an NVIDIA image is actually it's a really beneficial thing for users, because, it helps to kind of cut down on some of those issues that a lot of NVIDIA users have with Linux.
Yeah, and for some people, they don't have a choice. That's their system only has NVIDIA. So I want to make my system work for every system. Actually, Bluebuild has just released an architecture feature so that I can build my systems not just for 64 processors, but I can make it for ARM processors. So I think in the future I'm going to make a build that works on Macs with a M3 processor.
That would be huge, because from my understanding, there's no Linux distros that work on M3 right now. Just M1 and 2 with Asahi. And also, the ARM build would be really good for things like Raspberry Pis.
Yes. So I would add that ARM support, and I believe I know a lot of people think that Cosmic is heavy, but I believe that once the stable build comes out, I think Cosmic will be lighter than Gnome and KDE, so I think it would be a good place to put on small devices.
Yeah,
But we'll see.
I mean, it's not really hard to be lighter than GNOME. It's pretty heavy desktop.
Yeah, I still miss Gnome 2.0. That was the good days.
Is it, which, is it Mate that's based on 2.0 or XFC? No, XFC
No,
is
XFC
standalone.
is. I think it's mate. Yeah, I think you're right. Mate. I didn't. I've never heard of it that way, but yeah. All right. Well, I think this kind of wraps up my presentation.
And I don't really have any more questions, so thank you for being here and showing off your system. And I'll hopefully get a video out probably next week, because I'm away for a few days, but it won't be too hard to turn into a video.
All right. No worries. Keep me updated, and if there's any big announcements or any new things, I'll let you know, and then maybe we can give them a preview.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be great to have you here again. And there are some, you know, large changes, or even just changes that you think are interesting that you should well.
All right. Sounds good.
But yeah, I think that is it. Thank you for being a really, really good first step into kind of a more podcast style stream and pathway to the channel.
Yeah, I hope you can get some other interviews of other distros. I think that would be really good, even for me to learn how other people are doing things. So I hope you can do that.
Yeah, I'll absolutely try, and maybe some game developers too. I think that could be interesting as well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. Well, bon voyage.
Yeah, thank you for being here, and I'm excited to see where the project goes.